Sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who betray you in ways you never expected. Imagine living your life peacefully, raising your child with love, only to find out that someone close to you has gone behind your back to uncover a truth that never existed. A test that was supposed to reveal a secret ended up exposing something far more shocking. But what happens when the real deception isn't about the DNA, but about the people you thought were family? This is my story. I am a 30-year-old man, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. However, I am not biologically related to her in any way. There is no blood connection between us. Her mother and I had been childhood friends for most of our lives. We were never romantically involved, just close friends. She had her daughter at the age of 23 with her 25-year-old husband. Unfortunately, when their daughter was just 3 months old, both of her parents lost their lives in a workplace incident. They worked in the same building, and a tragic incident took both their lives. My friend and her husband had grown up in difficult family situations, with no close relatives or siblings who could take in their daughter. As someone who had been very close to them, I stepped in to adopt her. At the time, I was uncertain about becoming a parent, but I knew I didn't want their daughter to grow up in foster care or be raised by strangers with no connection to her biological parents. I decided to adopt her, and she has been my daughter ever since. My parents and siblings are fully aware that she is adopted. I never kept it a secret from her either. She knows she was adopted, and she understands that her biological parents passed away due to a dangerous person. Of course, I am saving the more painful details until she is old enough to fully comprehend them. Lily doesn't resemble me at all. She is the spitting image of her biological mother and father. However, since she spends all her time with me, most people assume she is my biological daughter, who simply takes after her mother. I never feel the need to correct this assumption because, to me, it doesn't matter. She is my daughter, plain and simple. My brother has been with his fiancée, Emma, for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago, we were all gathered at my parents' house when Emma noticed an old photograph on a shelf. It was a picture of me, Lily's mother, and her biological father. She pointed at my friend and asked who she was. I explained that she was Lily's biological mother. Emma became noticeably quiet and stood in front of the picture for a long time. I thought nothing of it at the time. To clarify, Emma knew that my friend had passed away. However, I guess she didn't know that she had been married or that Lily wasn't biologically mine. I assume she had simply believed Lily was my biological daughter and that her mother had passed away while she was still a baby. A few days later, Emma secretly obtained a DNA test for Lily behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when the results came back showing no relation, she knew that Lily and I weren't biologically related either. Emma confronted me, waving the DNA results in my face. With an accusatory tone, she told me I was raising a dead woman's secret relationship baby. She said this in front of my daughter. I was stunned for a moment, just staring at her. Then I burst out laughing. I told her that I was fully aware that Lily wasn't my biological daughter and that something called adoption existed. Her face turned red with embarrassment, and she stormed off. Later, my brother angrily told me that I had humiliated his fiancée. I argued that she had embarrassed herself by conducting a DNA test on a child who wasn't hers and then confronting me about it in such an inappropriate manner. What was she expecting? Did she think I would break down in tears and abandon my daughter? What was her goal? My brother insisted that Emma thought she was doing the right thing and called me an awful person for embarrassing her. I knew I wasn't in the wrong. Emma had inserted herself into something that was none of her business. However, a few days later, Emma showed up at my house and apologized, revealing the full story. It turned out that my brother had put her up for the DNA test. When I first adopted Lily, my brother somehow convinced himself that she was actually my biological daughter. He believed that Lily's mother and I had secretly been in a relationship and had a child together, but had kept it from everyone. In his mind, Lily's mother must have told me that Lily was mine, but decided to tell her husband she was his child, and I had simply gone along with the lie because I hadn't originally wanted kids. Emma had been under the impression that I was raising Lily without knowing the truth. When she saw the picture of Lily's mother, she assumed that my friend and I had been together. Her suspicions deepened when she noticed that the other man in the picture, Lily's biological father, looked strikingly like Lily. However, when she asked me about the picture, I didn't mention that Lily's biological father was also in it, because she had specifically asked about Lily's mother. I assumed she already knew that Lily was adopted. What I didn't know at the time was that my brother had been feeding her lies for nearly 2 years. Emma conducted the DNA test out of her own suspicions, but my brother helped her with it. He thought it would prove that I was actually Lily's biological father, and that I had been lying about the adoption. He manipulated Emma into believing that the test would simply clear the air. In reality, he just wanted to prove that he had been right all along. Of course, when the DNA results came back, they showed that Lily wasn't biologically related to either of us. My brother had been wrong all along. Instead of confessing to Emma that he had lied, he let her believe she had uncovered some sort of scandal and sent her to confront me. Emma also apologized for the way she had confronted me in front of Lily. She admitted that the topic of paternity was deeply personal for her. Her own mother had a secret relationship, resulting in a child with another man. Her father had unknowingly raised that child, believing it was his, and he was devastated when he eventually found out the truth. Emma had a deep resentment for women who deceived their spouses in this way. She had originally intended to sit me down privately to discuss the matter, but when she saw me with Lily, she became overwhelmed with anger. She thought I was unknowingly raising another man's child and that I was being manipulated just like her father had been. That was why she had lashed out. Emma felt guilty and was furious at my brother for lying to her. I wasn't angry with her for doing the DNA test, as I now understood why she had done it. She truly believed she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she had confronted me, as I understood that her own personal experiences had influenced her reaction. However, I doubt she will be forgiving my brother. She hinted that she was considering breaking off their engagement, and honestly, I wouldn't blame her. I know I will eventually forgive my brother, but I can't do that right now. This whole situation made me question something deeper. Why is it so hard for some people to believe that love, care, and commitment aren't about DNA? What do you think? Was my brother's lie worse than Emma's actions? Or do you think some people just can't understand that family goes beyond biology? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more twists and turns. You won't want to miss what's coming next.